The Buffalo Bills boat raced the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 5, 38-3. It was an all-out assault on the Steelers' defense. The Bills' offense averaged 10.2 yards per play to the Steelers' 5.1 yards per play. Just about everything worked on offense for the Bills and offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. The run game averaged 6.7 yards per carry thanks to some nice RPO runs and timely scrambles by Josh Allen. But the aerial attack by the Bills' offense was impressive. They had 11 plays of 20 yards or more. 8 of those were in the first half, and 4 of those explosive plays were via the run game. Without TJ Watt and a depleted secondary, Allen was able to carve up the Steelers for 424 yards and 4 touchdowns. He hit receivers running option routes underneath, glance routes on RPOs, and then made some big boy throws down the field for touchdowns. So let's dive into how the Bills used this game against the Steelers to tune up their explosive offense for their showdown with the Chiefs next week. The first big play was a 98-yard touchdown to Gabriel Davis. It tied the longest touchdown in franchise history. Prior to the snap, the safeties are trying to muddy up the look. But what is important is to notice that safety Minkah Fitzpatrick isn't one of those deep safeties. He is up near the line of scrimmage, likely responsible for spying Allen. On the snap, the safeties fly out wide to help the corners in coverage. Former Bills corner Levi Wallace is in off coverage against Davis. He is responsible for staying over the top and outside on the wide receiver. His help, Trey Norwood, is supposed to maintain inside leverage and low to perfectly bracket Davis. Josh hits the top of his drop and sees he has a middle of the field open look, and a damn good route called to that area with a post dialed up. Norwood worked horizontally to Davis, but underestimated Davis's speed. Davis got on Wallace and Norwood quickly, and he ran to Green. Allen hit the top of his drop, hitched up into the pocket, hop-stepped so that his hips didn't lock out, and while under duress, placed a perfect ball out in front of Davis. Davis didn't have to break stride, and the Bills were on the board on the third play of the game. Tremendous trust and call by offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, and execution by Allen and Davis. On the 2nd and 10 call on the Bills' third drive of the game, Allen found rookie Khalil Shakir down the seam for 31 yards, and to be honest, I'm not sure Allen should have thrown this. Let's chalk it up to arm arrogance. Prior to the snap, the Steelers show a single high look, almost the shell of cover 3. Allen scans to his left first and sees that Minkah is shaded to Diggs. Given the pre and post snap look, Allen likely thought it was cover 3, which would make this seam shot to Shakir the correct read. But the Steelers actually roll into a Tampa 2 look, with Wallace rolling into the deep half. Josh could have easily taken one of the under routes to the passing strength, generally the place the ball should go versus these 2 high looks. But Josh doesn't care. He wants to skip third down. He believes his arm can fit the ball down the seam. As Allen lets it rip, Wallace is spinning towards the seam, and the middle linebacker Devin Bush is gaining depth to wall off Shakir. With Bush's back to Allen, Allen throws it high and inside, allowing Shakir to climb the ladder. Shakir makes Allen's trust in him correct, with a gutsy catch over the middle among 3 defenders, and the Bills are able to get 3 points later in the drive. On this 3rd and 4 play on the Bills' 4th drive of the game, Allen read the trap coverage perfectly and found wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins for his first catch of his career. It's a 2-man route combination that the Bills love to run with Beasley and Davis. Typically, the slot receiver will have a slow developing option route with the outside receiver running a go route. Ideally, it works best against 2 high coverages that look to trap the slot if he runs an out route. The idea is to get the outside corner to hesitate just a bit so that the go route can sneak behind him for a big play. And that's what happens on this play. Shakir slow plays his release, and as he breaks towards the boundary, the outside corner traps him. Running back Zach Moss comes across the formation to pick up the corner coming off the edge, which gives Allen enough time to set and throw. Moss anchors at the feet of Allen, and the big quarterback stands tall and then delivers the honey hole shot to Hodgins for the big gain. A great read and throw by Allen. The Bills got another 26-yard gain, this time to tight end Quentin Morris on 3rd and 11. The call is meant to push the ball down the field, and I think if Allen holds it another half second, he may have Diggs on the double move. But instead, Allen checks it down to Morris, who was totally unaccounted for, and the reserve tight end rumbles for 26 yards. But by far the best play of the day was this 62-yard touchdown from Allen to Davis. And to be honest, it may be a throw and catch that are near the top of each of these players' career highlight reels. Let's start with the personnel. It's 21 personnel, so 2 running backs and 1 tight end. This is important because it puts the Steelers into their base defense with 4 linebackers on the field. It also puts one of their safeties down near the box, so the Steelers are showing a single high safety look. The Dino post route by Davis is one that he has skilled, and one that the Bills' Week 6 opponent, the Kansas City Chiefs, are awfully familiar with.
Josh looks, pumps once, fires a strike into the end zone, man wide open. Gabriel Davis, touchdown Buffalo.
What I love about this call is that Josh actually used his cadence to get the Steelers to not only show their hand, but to possibly jump off sides. He wanted to get a free play. He goes through a dummy cadence twice before the ball is actually snapped. Post-snap, the Steelers drop into cover 3, which typically means the post route by Davis is out as an option because the middle of the field is closed. But we're talking about Josh Allen here. Rather than hit Diggs on the inbreaker in the intermediate area, Allen held Minkah in the middle of the field, allowing Davis to eliminate some of his cushion. Allen hitched up in the pocket and unleashed a pass that covered 60.1 air yards, the second longest throw of the season, and carried a 21.5% completion probability rate. But it would not have been a completion if it wasn't for Davis's soft hands and strength. Fitzpatrick did a great job of playing the man until the ball dropped in. Davis snared the ball out of the air with his right hand, and as he went to reel it in, Minkah scooped it like ice cream. But Davis then used his left hand to secure the ball, and his strength to rip it away from one of the most talented players in the league.
He almost comes down. He's in perfect position, and he's going to rip it away from him, and Davis goes, no, I'm bigger than you. Get over here.
The Bills' defense got a quick 3-and-out, and thanks to a 26-yard punt, they started their drive on the 47-yard line. And on that first play, they got one of their explosive runs, this one by running back Devin Singletary. The defense tried confusing the Bills' offensive linemen by shifting players up until the snap, but it actually worked in the favor of the Bills. On the snap, they run pin and pull. Saffold is unable to execute a pin block on Hayward, but he has help with Morris and Bates either pulling or folding. Tight end Tommy Sweeney influences Alex Highsmith before climbing to the linebacker, allowing Dawkins to kick out the end man on the line of scrimmage. Bates helps clean up the gap by picking up Hayward, and Motor is able to squeeze through the gap for a 23-yard gain. The Bills got an extra 15 yards thanks to that hit on Tommy Sweeney, and on the next play, Dorsey dialed up a third-level RPO to hit Diggs on a glance route for the 15-yard touchdown to put the Bills up 24-3. After a missed field goal by the Steelers, the Bills took possession of the ball on their 23-yard line. And after a 3-yard pass to Diggs, Shakir's number was called a couple more times. On this 23-yard gain, Shakir read the coverage beautifully. Diggs drew the double coverage, so Shakir sat and showed his numbers to Allen. Allen hit Shakir, and the rookie was able to squirt by Fitzpatrick and get up the sideline to quickly flip the field for the offense. Allen went back to Shakir later in the drive on 3rd and 5. Just goes to show how much Allen trusted Shakir in this game, which is what it takes to contribute in this offense. The Bills have a dagger variation dialed up. Diggs is running the clearing route, the dig route is run by Davis, and Shakir is running a shoot route to the front pylon. The Steelers once again muddy the read up for Allen prior to the snap. They also, once again, put Minkah in the box as a spy and only send 3 at Allen. Post-snap, they get very good coverage on the Bills' top 2 receivers. Diggs and Davis are both bracketed, but Allen is able to find an advantageous one-on-one matchup with Shakir. Allen floats it to Shakir for the 24-yard touchdown, the first of his career. Getting Shakir involved as the season progresses will go a long way towards how successful the Bills' offense can be this season. The Bills only had one drive in the third quarter, and it ended with a fumble by Morris. But at the top of the fourth quarter, the Bills come back to an RPO they ran earlier in the game. Remember that explosive run by Motor? The Bills show a similar look here. This time the linebacker falls into his run fit, so Allen pulls it and hits Diggs for a 41-yard gain. This was the Bills' bread and butter RPO when Cole Beasley was in the fold. As the conflict defender, linebacker Devin Bush is wrong no matter what he chooses. He comes downhill to insert versus the run, and Allen throws it right behind him for a big gain. The Bills cap off the drive on the very next play with a 24-yard touchdown run by James Cook. Another player that, along with Shakir, could add another dimension to this offense. Let's look at some of the details of this play. To start, the offense has an extra lineman on the field, along with tight end Tommy Sweeney. So the Steelers match with their base defense, which is a 5-man defensive front. Now look closely at Sweeney's split. It's a tad wider, so that the end man on the line of scrimmage lines up a tad wider as well. This is important to this run. On the snap, the Bills run mid-zone to the weak side of the formation, so to their left, and Cook's vision on this play was spectacular. Even before he receives this handoff, he knows that given the wide alignments to the weak side, that those two gaps are essentially eliminated. That's why when he receives the ball, his eyes are already on Devin Bush. Bush has his eyes in the gap, so Cook moves on with his reads and quickly processes and recognizes that the backside D gap bubble is where the ball needs to go. That gap is considerably larger thanks to Hart washing the defender down, but also because Sweeney didn't have to worry about the end man on the line of scrimmage. That guy has to hold for any bootlegs, counters, or reverses. So the wide alignment by Sweeney, along with that defender's job, allowed Cook to hit the gaping hole. Once he gets into the open field, he presses towards Fitzpatrick. He makes the cut and accelerates away from the safety and hurdles the arm tackle to break free for the touchdown. This was the type of play and game the Bills offense needed to put on film leading into Chiefs week. Everything was clicking, as it will need to be for next Sunday's showdown at Arrowhead. Thanks for tuning in to this breakdown. If you guys appreciated that breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the Cover One YouTube channel. But more importantly, get to the cover1.football website to become an insider. If you sign up for our one-pass subscription on the cover1.football website, you're going to get a lot of content, behind-the-scenes type content, scheme and player breakdowns, scouting reports. You're going to have access to the Slack channel, our Cover One community, where we talk football all day, every day. And you're getting access to our contributors. You're able to engage with them on a daily basis all day. And there's a lot of things that we're going to be putting out to our insiders throughout the season. So if you appreciated this content, this breakdown, you're going to get even more as an insider. So make your play for $57 for the year for all of the content that we provide to our insiders. And thank you again for joining me in the film room.